The adventurous story begins by showing a very large city in the desert. This city had been abandoned for many years, and no one lived there anymore. However, many secrets were hidden within this ancient city, and many researchers came here to conduct their research. We are introduced to a researcher named James, who had arrived at the place with his wife Olivia. James was in search of the Book of Darkness located within the city, which had the power to bring any deceased person back to life. James and Olivia's daughter had died in an accident years ago, and they still remembered her. James had finally decided to use the book to bring his daughter back to life. However, Olivia believed that anyone who had left this world could never return. Despite this, James forcibly took Olivia to the place where he would search for the Book of Darkness. James, Olivia, and a man accompanying them were continuously entering rooms in the city. The place was quite eerie, filled with many human skeletons. Still, James did not stop his investigation and kept searching. After much effort, he finally found the book called the Book of Darkness. By performing the ritual in this book, he could bring any deceased person back to life. While Olivia and her bodyguard went to another part of the city, they noticed a different world below, with a lot of water and darkness above. The environment inside the city was something they had never seen before. James wanted to keep the Book of Darkness a complete secret, so he immediately shot his own bodyguard. He then told Olivia that they would soon bring their daughter back to life, so they needed to perform the ritual and cast all the spells. Olivia, convinced by James's words, began preparing for the ritual. James started reading the Book of Darkness, and Olivia lay down in a place as part of the ritual. James kept reading the spells from the Book of Darkness to bring his deceased daughter back to life. But suddenly, a powerful earthquake began, and stones started falling from all sides, trapping James beneath them. James was injured so severely that he couldn't even get out. He clearly told his wife Olivia to take the Book of Darkness and leave as quickly as possible because saving him was extremely difficult and could also endanger her life. Olivia began to worry about who would bring their daughter back to life if she also died, so she decided to leave James behind, grab the Book of Darkness, and escape quickly. In no time, the entire city in the desert started collapsing, as if a curse had been placed after reading the book, causing the city to vanish completely. Although Olivia managed to escape, her husband James was killed in the disaster. Now, Olivia was shown having terrible nightmares about the event in which she lost her husband. Years had passed since the accident, but Olivia had not yet been able to forget the horrifying scene. The Book of Darkness that Olivia and her husband had found had mysteriously disappeared. Olivia was deeply worried that if the book fell into the wrong hands, all the spells inside it could be cast, potentially bringing any deceased person back to life. However, James had told her that anyone who performed the spells might face a chance of having the devil himself come back in the resurrected body, gaining the ability to do anything in the real world. Therefore, Olivia desperately wanted to find the Book of Darkness and ensure it was kept safe in the right hands. We are then introduced to a detective named Sam, who had changed his identity to investigate a case. Sam was on the hunt for a murderer who had committed 3 killings. This killer had continuously murdered 3 women, so finding out about these murders was crucial. When Sam changed his base and came to the rural area for further investigation, he was apprehended by the locals. In this area, it was forbidden for police officers or detectives to enter. It appeared that everyone there intended to kill Sam. As a result, the locals gathered in large numbers. However, at the right moment, Sam's friend Gary arrived with a gun, causing the locals to flee. If Gary had arrived even a little later, Sam's life would have been in danger. The shocking part was that nearby, another woman had been killed, marking the 4th murder. Gary and Sam proceeded to investigate the crime scene, where they observed a pattern in the killings. It became clear that the murderer was targeting only women. While examining the body of the 4th victim, they found a small ball with a star symbol on it. They knew that such symbols were associated with magic, so they took the ball to a spiritual guru to gather more information. The spiritual guru identified the star symbol as part of a pentagon used to protect against evil and demons, suggesting a possible connection to dark magic, which could be very dangerous. Gary and Sam noticed that a similar structure was also present in Olivia and her company's activities. Olivia, James's wife, ran a private company where she showcased her dark powers and conducted visions of deceased family members for clients. Although Sam and Gary were skeptical about these claims, they decided to attend Olivia's show, where she would perform magic. Olivia was prepared with a complete setup and began performing a ritual. Everyone present was waiting to witness the magic. Sam and Gary discussed their doubts, believing it was just a trick to deceive people. However, as Olivia performed the ritual, a strange type of radiation began to emanate. Everyone looked up at the radiation and began to see images of their deceased loved ones and family members. As the visions appeared, they were quite shocking. Sam saw visions of his wife, who had died years ago due to a mistake he made. Both Sam and Gary were completely stunned, as they had only heard about such things in stories, but seeing Olivia's dark magic with their own eyes made them believe it was real. However, Sam and Gary needed to continue their investigation to solve the murder case. Another woman was seen submitting some reports to Gary and then leaving. Suddenly, the murderer attacked her in the middle of the road, capturing her and taking her to a secret hideout. The murderer, clad in black, brought the girl to his lair. Here, it was revealed that the Book of Darkness, once owned by Olivia, was in the murderer's possession. He was performing a ritual, and all the murders were part of this dark book, indicating that something even worse was about to happen. Meanwhile, Gary and Sam recently got a clue that led them to discover where the murderer had taken his victims. They found some hair samples, which they sent to the laboratory for analysis. With the occurrence of another murder, Sam was deeply shocked, but he decided to use his intellect. He arranged all 5 murders in a line and mapped them out, revealing a pattern resembling the pentagon. This confirmed that the murders were part of a ritual performed by the murderer. Sam and Gary deduced where the next murder would occur and how it would happen. They set out to investigate that location. Sam's suspicion about Olivia intensified due to the dark magic involved, so he decided to visit Olivia to verify her powers and see if she could truly communicate with spirits. Sam showed Olivia a ring, which belonged to the last victim murdered by the black-clad killer. He wanted to speak with the spirit of that lady to gain more information. Sam wanted to find out what the spirit had seen and how the murder had happened. Olivia said that she could summon the lady's spirit with the help of the ring, but it depended entirely on whether the spirit wanted to communicate with them. Sam was ready for this, and he urged Olivia to proceed. Olivia then concentrated deeply and began to learn everything about the spirit connected to the ring. She described the events leading up to the lady's death, explaining how she had been abducted and killed by the murderer, then discarded by the river. Suddenly, Sam stood up and accused Olivia of being caught red-handed. He claimed that the ring belonged to his deceased wife, not the lady in question. Sam began to suspect that Olivia was behind all the murders and was using dark magic to deceive people. In a fit of rage, Sam had Olivia imprisoned until her innocence could be proven. Olivia was extremely stressed, knowing she could perform dark magic, but she had lied out of fear this time. However, Olivia then had a vision in which she saw the murderer targeting another lady. According to the ritual, this would be the 6th victim for the murderer. Olivia could clearly see where the lady was and where her body was hidden. Olivia immediately went to inform Sam, but due to his mistrust, he did not believe her. After a few days, Olivia was released because there was no evidence against her. Nevertheless, she went to the location she had seen in her vision and discovered the lady's dead body. She gathered all the evidence and returned to Sam. However, both Sam and Gary were now suspicious of Olivia, questioning how she had known where the body was hidden. This raised concerns that Olivia might have been involved in the murder. Despite these doubts, Olivia had been truthful from the beginning. Suddenly, Olivia had another vision, in which she saw the murderer attacking a different lady. This time, Olivia noticed a tattoo on the murderer's hand and quickly sketched it on paper. This became a significant piece of evidence for tracking down the murderer. Gary, upon seeing the tattoo, recognized it and realized which person it belonged to. Sam and Gary immediately went to the market and apprehended the man with the tattoo, interrogating him severely. The man claimed he had recently gotten the tattoo after seeing it on someone else and had seen a murderer carrying a lady's dead body some time ago. He had also stolen a watch from the murderer, which he handed over to Sam and Gary for investigation. Upon examining the watch, they discovered it belonged to a wealthy man named Goldson. Sam, Gary, and their team then raided Goldson's house and began their investigation. Goldson appeared anxious, as if he was hiding something. They found blood-stained clothes and a knife with dried blood in a small chamber. Sam arrested Goldson and interrogated him about these items. Goldson explained that the blood was from small animals on which he was performing rituals. He confessed that he was trying to acquire skills similar to Olivia's to communicate with spirits and had been practicing these rituals. He admitted to giving the watch to his maid, who had kept it hidden. With these explanations, Goldson's suspicion was cleared. Olivia had been helpful enough that Sam began to trust her. Olivia then provided Sam with more details about the Book of Darkness. She explained that the murderer was likely performing a ritual involving the sacrifice of 9 people. In this ritual, murders occurred in a pattern similar to a pentagon, with the 5 points representing the 5 murders that had already been committed. The remaining murders were expected to follow the same pattern, so it was anticipated that the remaining ones would occur soon. Over the next few days, Olivia and Sam became quite close, sharing everything with each other. Olivia revealed details about her past to Sam, explaining how her father had always hated her. Olivia had possessed dark powers from an early age, making her family view her as a curse. Even her husband, James, treated her poorly, and after their daughter died in an accident, James became obsessed with resurrecting her. They had sought out the Book of Darkness in the city, but it had mysteriously disappeared, along with the death of her husband, James. Sam also shared his own tragic story about his wife, who died during pregnancy, taking their unborn child with her. This left Sam feeling extremely alone. As they opened up to each other, they grew closer. However, Olivia soon had another vision, in which she saw the murderer preparing for his next ritual. He had captured a new victim and planned to perform the remaining 4 murders in specific ways, one by burying the victim underground, one by drowning them, one by suffocating them with air, and the last by burning them. Olivia first saw that the murderer had buried a lady underground while she was still alive. To save her, Olivia and Sam rushed to the graveyard, but by the time they arrived, the lady had already died. As Sam was investigating the scene, the murderer appeared from behind and immediately kidnapped Olivia. Olivia screamed loudly, prompting Sam to chase after the murderer, fighting him desperately to rescue her. But the murderer, after killing Gary, threw him aside and moved on. Using the evidence he had gathered, Gary had managed to locate an old palace. Despite the danger, Gary ventured alone into the palace to continue his investigation. However, a soldier of the murderer appeared and immediately attacked Gary, trying to strangle him. Gary struggled to breathe as the soldier's grip tightened. Inside the palace, Olivia was being held captive by the murderer. She noticed a chair in the room and realized that the murderer had used it to kill the other girls. Disturbing voices of the deceased girls filled her mind, causing Olivia great distress. She quickly grabbed the Book of Darkness and fled from the palace. Meanwhile, Gary managed to knock out the soldier and escape. When he reached the palace, he encountered Olivia, but their reunion was short-lived as the murderer appeared and captured Gary. Fortunately, Sam, along with several investigation officers, arrived at the scene shortly after, having learned about the palace from Gary. Sam found Gary dead at the palace door, another victim of the murderer. Sam, with his team, began investigating the palace. Inside, he found a girl locked in a butler's closet. She was none other than Olivia's daughter. Understanding the gravity of the situation from Olivia's previous revelations, Sam deduced from the Book of Darkness that the murderer intended to burn Olivia as part of his final ritual. Sam swiftly moved to a festival area where the murderer was performing a magic trick on stage, with Olivia bound and about to be set on fire. Then a dark secret was revealed. The murderer was none other than Olivia's husband, James. He had not been dead after all and was the one who committed all the murders to perform his ritual. His ultimate goal was to bring his daughter back to life. As James prepared to set Olivia on fire amidst the flames, Sam arrived just in time and shot James, hitting him directly. James fell into the fire, completely out of control, and his body began to burn, completing the final sacrifice and the ritual. Inside the palace, Olivia's daughter, who had been dead, was revived. Sam managed to get Olivia out of the stage and to a safe place. For the first time, Olivia and Sam were close to each other, and Olivia was relieved that her husband, whom she had despised, was gone. In the end, everything was set right, and Olivia's daughter was brought back to life. Olivia decided to spend her future with her daughter and Sam. And so, our story ends here.